Welcome back tonight to Wyoming SportsLine. I'm Jerrad Anderson. Wyoming Cowboy football spring practice. 8 practices underway. They've got their first scrimmage coming up, open to the public tomorrow. It'll be in Cheyenne at Central High School at a risky field that is absolutely free at noon tomorrow if you're in the Cheyenne area and want to check that out. And joining us now is the head coach of the Wyoming Cowboy football team, Craig Bohl. Craig, first of all, 8 practices under your belt. What have you seen from spring camp that you like so far?
Well, we're pleased with our progress. I'm glad that we've got 7 opportunities left to continue to get better. But it's been, rewarding to see a lot of the players who played last year as freshmen go through their first spring football and really gain the advantages of not worrying about this scheme or that scheme to get ready for the next opponent, but actually focus on fundamentals. And so we're pleased from that standpoint. I think a lot of our younger players have continued to get better. A guy like Andrew Wingert, who had a bang-up year for a freshman, has really had an exceptional spring. The other point, I think our quarterbacks have utilized the time that we've had. Josh Allen has certainly shown he's got some good ability. We are watching some of the repetitions we're giving some of our players, like Brian Hill. I think we've seen what he can do for the last 2 years. He's certainly been out there in practice, but probably not exposing him or showing him as much as what we are the other players.
Are there certain things you as a coach or your staff have to see over the next few weeks to be satisfied with spring camp, or is it just about the improvement individually for everybody?
No, there's more than just individual improvement. We set out the beginning of the spring every year, and the number one goal you want to do is evaluate your personnel. You have an opportunity here to put guys in game-like situations and see how they perform, to see which guys the cream will rise to the top. And so that's our number one goal. The second thing is to really institute our fundamentals of our offense and our defense and our kicking game. And the third thing is you're always looking at trying little nuances to tweak some things, experiment. We're really not in that phase, but we're really focused on the first 2. I would say if we're able to come out of the spring knowing who our quarterback is, that's going to be a big bonus for us as we stage our practices in the fall. And then I think it's going to be important that we bring along some depth at the wide receiver position, and then along with that, just shore up some things in the secondary.
Has there been a guy or two that has surprised you and your staff in camp so far? Anybody turn in your head?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there certainly has been. I would say Carl Granderson, he was a skinny defensive end for us as a freshman last year, and he's gained about 30 pounds, and he's carried that weight well. He's really doing some good things at the defensive end position. We're also pleased Logan Wilson from Natrona County has made the move into linebacker, and right now he's sitting in a starting spot. I think he's still trying to figure out some things about playing linebacker here at UW, but we're pleased with Logan's place thus far. And then, just at the offensive tackle position, I think, Zach Wallace has done a nice job.
One guy that I'm continuously impressed with, Coach, has been DJ May in the transition to linebacker. Is DJ getting more comfortable with his role on defense so far this year, now that he's had a full year to kind of digest it?
Well, he certainly has. He even though he was out there for spring ball last year, he was recovering from an ACL surgery, and so he was not able to do any full contact work, and he's been able to do that now. However, yesterday he did sustain a second-degree ankle sprain, which I think is probably going to keep him out of at least a week. But we're pleased with his progress. He's an aggressive guy that can really run in our league. You have to have guys that have athleticism and can cover a lot of ground. I thought we were deficient with our speed, and DJ is one of the fastest players on our football team.
You talked about the quarterback competition a little bit earlier this week. You told the media that you thought Josh had a little bit of a leg up. Is that still accurate? Is he still have a little bit of a lead?
Well, that is accurate. Now, when we scrimmage tomorrow over in Cheyenne, you're going to see Josh take the majority of the reps. Nick Smith will take some reps with the ones, but we've evaluated that position every practice. We chart it, we spec it out, we followed all the statistics as far as decision making, completion percentage, and and accuracy, and thus far Josh has got an edge on Nick, but we'll continue to evaluate that throughout spring.
Again, Wyoming Cowboy football head coach Craig Bohl, our guest tonight on a Wyoming SportsLine. Coach, you mentioned the scrimmage tomorrow in Cheyenne. Again, it's free to the public. Noon is the start time. Happens at Cheyenne Central High School's Risky Field. For folks that may want to come check out that scrimmage tomorrow, what can they expect?
Well, it'll be between 70 and 100 plays. We'll probably finalize that this afternoon, and we'll do some things in the kicking game. I think it's going to be important we find a good returner, and so we're going to take a look at several different guys. Tanner Gentry certainly has ability, but, a guy that's come over from the basketball team, Austin Conway, we're going to have him, maybe look at him as a return specialist. It'll be a full contact scrimmage. There'll be some game-like situations involved, but most of the time you'll see the ones and the twos mix in, and it'll be all the coaches off the side and the officials will be out there. So it'll give our fans just a real perspective on where we're at.
Do you like being able to have an audience for the first time this season, or do you kind of wish there was a few more practices under your belt first?
Oh, I don't know. I think, when you're the state team, I think it's important to show what kind of product we have on the field. We're certainly not ready for prime time yet, but we're excited about being able to, have our football team shown to different parts of the state. We're the University of Wyoming, not the University of Laramie, and it's important for our fans to have an opportunity to see our players. We also recognize that they come from a long distance, so if we can take some satellite approaches like we're doing here, I think that's going to be beneficial.
Just a couple more quick questions for you, Coach. Yesterday, you talked about Sean Wick and maybe a bit of a rib injury. Anything new with Sean?
Yeah, he really bounced back from that okay. We did some live goal line work, and Sean was explosive, really made a nice run on one of the plays. So he'll be at full speed. We'll give him some repetition in Cheyenne. He won't get tons of it. We're really we got a pretty good idea what Brian Hill can do. We got a pretty good idea what Sean can do. We need to see what some of these other guys can do. Like, Milo Hall's a guy that we're going to take a hard look at. He was from Cherry Creek High School. He was the Colorado Player of the Year, and so he'll be featured quite a bit.
And finally for you, Craig, just kind of curious, compared to your first couple of spring camps here at the University of Wyoming, does anything feel different about this one? Has anything changed, or are they all about the same?
Well, I can tell you as a head football coach, you always feel more comfortable when you get to know a lot of the guys. We've had an opportunity to recruit a lot of the players that are on our squad right now, and then along with that, just the players that were on the squad before I got here, our coaches got here as coaching staff, just getting to know their strengths and weaknesses, expectation. We have a hungry football team. We're still young, but they are a hungry, competitive group, and so we'll be excited to see how they progress.
All right, Coach, really appreciate the time, and have some fun in Cheyenne tomorrow.
Okay, bye now.
Head coach of the Wyoming Cowboy football team, Craig Bohl, appreciate his time tonight on Wyoming SportsLine. That interview in its entirety will be posted to our station's website later tonight in case you want to catch any of that you may have missed. Again, the first scrimmage open to the public coming up tomorrow in Cheyenne Central High School's Risky Field. It begins at noon. Cowboys back at the practice field next week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday's their routine. The annual spring game is coming up on Saturday, April 23rd at War Memorial Stadium. We'll close out Wyoming SportsLine with a check of some pro sports next.